Good evening. This is our news bulletin for this Tuesday evening. In our headlines, government discusses changes to election dates. Niue Honey wins international awards, putting Niue on the map as a top producer of world-class honey. Kiwibank encourages customers to use debit cards and avoid carrying large amounts of cash. The school year starts with a few changes to boost students' learning environment and achievement. Government have discussed plans for a change to election dates from early March to May instead. Premier Tokatalangi made an announcement in September of last year that the elections would be held early on the 4th of March to give potential candidates time to consider their candidacy. However, government officials have had time to discuss with government lawyers, and reports have surfaced that there could be a change to May. The matter was discussed in Cabinet, with a press release expected. However, it seems that an actual date has not yet been decided. As for the dissolution of the Niue Assembly, according to the Constitution of Niue in Section 26, the Speaker of the House shall by notice in the Niue Gazette dissolve the Niue Assembly at the expiration of 3 years from the date of the last preceding general election, if it has not been sooner dissolved. At any time after the expiration of 2 years and 9 months from the date of the last preceding general election, if the Premier so requests. With Premier Tokatalangi still overseas due to medical and health woes, it is uncertain whether this could be one reason for the change in dates, but whatever the reason may be, this will now give potential candidates more time to work on their campaign preparations. Although an official release is yet to be received from government regarding the exact dates, the Chief Electoral Officer will not be able to exercise his powers until the Legislative Assembly is dissolved. Then a call for nominations of candidates will be announced as usual. Niue Honey has won international recognition for the quality of their product, raising Niue's profile as a world-class producer of honey. From humble beginnings, the local business has gone through a number of management changes over the years. This is the second time that they have entered this competition, and this time with a bit of help from experts in the industry and a bit more work on packaging. They have come away with a win not only for Niue Honey, but for honey producers in the Pacific as well.
There was 1,200 entries, and we won best in the world outside the UK. Then we won best in the world, including UK, and then we won Order of the Ukraine, which is only given out every 3 or 4 years to something outstanding. So we're pretty pleased with that. And I'm considering, we're a very modest setup here. This is exactly the same plant that was used when McKissick's day. So we're very proud of it. Well, we won mainly for clarity. We, even though we're organic here, so we can't put a lot of heat into the honey like we do down in New Zealand. And the honey's very warm when it comes off anyway. So we mainly just work on the settling method because honey's very heavy. Honey's 1.5 times the weight of water. So we filter it through a 400 microns nylon strainer, but any very fine dross floats to the top, and then we drain the drums from the bottom. So that really helps us. And the honey that went over was absolutely just drained out of a drum, straight out of the tap as we do here. So there's nothing special with it. And then the flavour's unique because it's a lot of Pacific Island honeys and Australian honeys have a very strong back taste to them and everything like this. This has got a sort of a coconut taste to it. And then just the presentation was good. So we only entered 2 categories because we only had limited amount of honey, but this year we're probably entering about 4 categories, and we hope to do. So we've been asked this year to go back. We'll go back this year, and we're doing 2 lectures, one on Pacific Island beekeeping in the main auditorium. We'll have about 600-700 people there, and another one on the bee sanctuary. So it's really given what we're trying to do up a huge lift. It's wonderful to get some recognition. After 18 years, Arpie and I have been battling away on this for 18 years. So, it's good to finally get some professional recognition in the honey industry.
The awards have given a much-needed boost for Niue Honey, but these benefits will also have a ripple effect for shareholders and landowners.
We've got shareholders, and then we've got landowners, which are shareholders, and we've managed to increase their royalties on their honey doubled this year. And we're going for the value added. the price on the island's always going to stay the same. You know what I mean? We're not too worried about the volume that goes out here. But worldwide, we're getting interest. From the honey show's been the greatest thing for us to get some worldwide exposure.
The awards received were for quality honey, but it has opened up opportunities to look at supplying for value-added products. There has also been an increase in demand for Niue honey, but supply and volume is another issue. Niue honey will be attending the next British Honey Show in August and hope to enter more than 4 categories. Visitors to the island are being told to avoid carrying large amounts of cash when travelling to Niue, especially when bank and EFTPOS services are readily available. Kiwi Bank is the only bank in Niue and took over banking services from the Bank of the South Pacific. 3 years on, they've revealed that they have opened over 1,400 accounts, with about 60% of those accounts having active debit cards. According to the Kiwi Bank Niue branch manager, Wayne McCorn, they have started to notice that people are travelling to Niue with so much cash that the bank has had to send most of it back to New Zealand.
What we want to do is to try and reduce the amount of cash that's going around the island. We don't need to have that amount of cash going around the island now. There's recently been a campaign we've run in conjunction with Government of Niue to incentivise people to take merchant facilities on, so EFTPOS and credit card facilities, so it takes debit cards and credit cards. So what the government's done there is to pay the EFTPOS New Zealand rental fee for 18 months, and that fee ranges from $73.50 through to about $85 a month. So we'll reimburse that to the retailer. So that scheme's been going about 3 months, and we're going to extend it from the end of January to the end of February. So to date we've signed up, or have in the process of signing up, another 20 merchants. So that means we'll have in excess of 60 businesses on the island that can take EFTPOS. So that's really great. Everyone's bought into it. It's brilliant. What we're trying to say, the message we're passing on is, in the past everyone's brought cash up to Niue when they come, and people are still doing that. We want that to stop. We can supply cash on the island. Everything's in New Zealand dollars. So I guess all tourists and all Niueans that come back to visit friends and families, please don't bring cash. Come into the branch if you need it. We can cater to your needs or use the retailers on the island.
For much older customers who grew up in an era where bank books were used and actual cash on hand was the norm, the whole concept of using cards will take some getting used to. However, this is the way of the future, and Kiwi Bank are keen to help their customers source debit cards for convenience.
To order a debit card, you need to either do it when you're in New Zealand or do it here. So come into the branch. What we do here, it's slightly different than New Zealand because we can't pin the cards in the branch in Niue. So we have to get you to pin the card. We order them and they arrive up here. And I know some of that varies, from how fast they're received. Some come up in 3 days, some take 3 weeks. So just keep in touch with us. If it doesn't arrive, come back and see us. If you're in New Zealand, down there, and you want a new card, go into a Kiwi Bank branch down there. They could get you a card sent to your New Zealand address if you've got one, and you can pin it there before you come back, which is a nice and easy way to do it.
Another development at the bank just recently, customers can now withdraw cash using their debit card and bypass having to fill in withdrawal forms. Kiwi Bank hopes that with more information about their services, people can rest assured that their cash and banking needs will be met, even in a place as remote as Niue. The school year started yesterday with both schools welcoming students and staff for the first term for 2017. That was full of eagerness and a few nerves for some children. This year also marks a number of changes for those at the early childhood education and Niue Primary School, who start off this new year with a new principal. Moka Vaha has been appointed into the position on contract, replacing Itzi Tukitonga, who has completed her term. A new entrance class has also been created for children who turn 5 at different times throughout the year, so there are now 3 classrooms for Year 1 students. There are now 3 composite classes for Years 5 and 6 that has been created, and according to the Education Department, the composite classes are not new and are being practiced in numerous schools in both New Zealand and Australia. These have also been practiced in Niue in the past. In terms of learning for Year 5 and Year 6, the The New Zealand curriculum is delivered in bands across age groups, which makes learning more fluid and provides for differential learning. A meeting was held with parents on Friday to provide them with the information and rationale behind the composite classes and assurances that students will not be disadvantaged by this arrangement. Niue High School has also welcomed their new entrants moving up from Niue Primary and are trying to finalise the various options that students will be taking for NCEA. We contacted both schools to find out what the school roll is looking like for this year, but final numbers should be received by the end of the week, especially when there are still students who may be moving overseas and some who may be returning to Niue who are yet to register or enrol. And those are our news stories that we have for tonight's news bulletin. Do join us again for our next news bulletin on Thursday.